live. I definitely think that this stream set up in time to send out a live link. If you're seeing this, you are watching this after the fact, and I appreciate you for tuning in. I set up the stream so I can continue to test to see what things are like. You can see I have a Bluetooth headset in. It's actually not connected to the camera that's facing me. The camera that's facing me is actually an old phone. So I'm using the mic and camera from that phone. Just want to see what that looks like. If it works, it means I get to listen to music on my main phone. My main phone also has the companion app on it. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm just gonna quickly tune into YouTube and see if I can see what my live sounds like. Oh, I'll probably get feedback. That's my guess. But it sounds not too bad. So we're gonna roll with it like this without using a Bluetooth mic. We'll see how the rest of this ride goes. Speaking of this ride, on Zwift, they have occasional series. Is a collection of rides that are usually hosted by a particular group or centered around a specific theme. As you can see, the name of this stream is Off the MAAP, MAAP. They're the ones that's the name of the group that's hosting kind of the series. The unlock is this fancy jersey you see my avatar wearing, and I believe it's a hat. Oh, it's funny. The avatar's got a backwards hat on, kind of like me. And in this particular series, every stage has 3 rides available to it. A longer ride, a standard ride, and a shorter ride. When I ride later in the evening like this, it's just after 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time here in Toronto. And in a time like this, I like to get about an hour of work in. That's what we're doing here. I actually don't remember which course this is. Let's take a quick look. We're on the Knickerbocker map. Let's look up some details here. So for those of you who don't know, what you're looking at on the big screen is a screen cap of my iPad, which is running Zwift, which is a virtual cycling platform. And it's basically a video game that's connected to my real bike, which is on a trainer right now. And my trainer's got a bunch of sensors attached to it that communicate back to my iPad to tell the game, how hard I'm pedaling, how fast my tire's spinning, as well as what my heart rate is. There's a heart rate monitor under here. But no one needs to see me shirtless. So just trust me, there's a heart rate monitor there. So Zwift is basically a video game where the controller is your bike, well, you and your bike. I've actually been a Zwift member for probably like 4 years now, but I've really been riding consistently now for probably about 2 years. I started, kind of the fall of 2019, and obviously COVID meant I had a ton of time at home, so I just kept going. And here we are in August 2021, still riding indoors. Those of you in Toronto know the weather's nice. It's hot, a little too hot sometimes. So it's perfectly decent cycling weather, but because I'm a gamer, I'd much rather ride indoors and earn XP and unlock new gear, new bikes. So this is where we are. So this off the map stage is held on the Knickerbocker route. I'm gonna move my phone a little closer. I showed the Zwift companion app on my main phone a second ago, and helps me kind of control things in the game. You'll see the avatar, my avatar, the one right at the bottom of the screen. Just so, for those of you who don't know, I actually don't control the steering. The game looks after that. But I do control how close I am or how far I am from the rider in front of me. So for those of you kind of familiar with either cycling or even motorsports, drafting's a thing in real life sports, and they managed to replicate that in the game here. And I've got no one in front of me, so there's no draft. Here we go. Maybe I'll let this person behind me sneak in front, and I can get a little bit of a break. No, I think they want to sit on my wheel, which is totally fine. So what I'm going to do is, before I continue talking, I'll share out my stream that's happening right now. Let's see. Let's randomly share this on Facebook and see what we get. Oh, let me pick and choose. Let's see, recording. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's just send a friend. see who decides they want to click in. Let's see. So we shared this live. Let's see what happens. Hey, I've got someone to draw. 2 people to draw. Here we go. Oh, this is a sprint. No thanks. You guys have at it if you want it. Oh. All right. So now that we've shared that, if anyone jumps on here, I will see it. If anyone's watching this after, you'll probably start from the beginning. Anyways, the Knickerbocker, that's what we're riding today. It's 22.5 kilometers in length. There's a total of 346 meters of climbing, which I believe comes in the form of one massive climb. If what you're seeing on the screen looks a little familiar, it is. So, like I said, Zwift's a virtual cycling platform, and the designers have done a fantastic job of building these virtual worlds that look pretty realistic in the sense that, you know, roads go up and down, roads turn left and right, the trees blow in the wind, the sun rises, the sun sets. And the very first world they put out was a completely virtual world called Watopia. But this map, in particular that we're riding on today, is Zwift's recreation of Central Park. And what's the reimagination of Central Park in New York City? So obviously there isn't this clear glass highway in Central Park, but everything you've seen up until this point are recreations of paths inside Central Park. This part that we're climbing now is their reimagination, the futuristic look at New York City, if you will. So yeah, it's one of the cool things about Zwift. We get to get a workout in and see some cool stuff on the way. As I said, this is the stage 3 of the Off the Map series on Zwift. This is the standard ride, which takes place on the Knickerbocker route on the New York City world within Zwift. A little fun fact about this particular course, like I said, it's 22.5 kilometers. There's just over 300 meters, or just over 1,100 feet of climbing. So when the road goes up, you got to pedal harder and put out more watts to maintain speed. When you're on a decline, you can actually kind of shut it down, and your avatar will start to speed up. That red dotted line is the start of the KOM, King or Queen of the Mountains. Those of you who are familiar with cycling, the King of the Mountain or Queen of the Mountain is a separate jersey awarded to the best climber in a stage race. And So let's just kind of mimic that by marking off climbs as kind of checkpoints. So on any given ride, and you'll see it on the left-hand side of my screen there, where your standings are in regards to everyone that's currently cycling on the MAAP. So this climb that I'm on right now is called the New York KOM. In total, it's 1.4 kilometers of climbing. Average gradient is 6.1%, which means I climb 6 meters for every 100 meters that I ride on average. You can see my speeds drop to 13 kilometers an hour. And again, it's fairly realistic in the sense that you can see my cadence, you can see my heart rate. Unfortunately, my wattage is cut off by my not so ideal streaming setup here. But right now I'm putting out about 150 watts, which is, you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, where my name is highlighted in blue, that's about 1.9 to 2 watts per kilo. Yes, I need to lose a couple kilos. But if I increase my cadence, if I switch to a bigger gear, I'll put up more wattage and I'll start to climb a little bit quicker. There's a flat section of the climb right here where I like to take advantage of the fact that I'm not the greatest of climbers or the most ideally built to be a climber. Let's just use some pure power to pick up some speed on this flat so you can see so it starts to kick up again as it turns to the right. Looks like I'm putting out 2.5, 2.6 watts per kilo now. Oh yeah. Not sure if you can see it on the screen. You can't. So this section of the climb, in the top right is a mini map. Like I said, part of my screen is cut off. This section of road is 15%. Hey, unlock some glasses. This is the video game aspect that I'm kind of hooked on. I think I'm about halfway through this climb. I'm definitely not doing it in 3 minutes. There are some serious cyclists on this app at any given time. As you can see on the rider bar on the right, there's 147 people taking part in this event currently. And there's actually an event kicking off every hour. And all 3 rides, the longer, the standard, and the shorter ride, are on the New York MAAP. So there's 147 in my event. But my event started at 8 at the same time as the longer ride and the shorter ride. So there's probably upwards of 500 people that started at 8. The longer ride and the standard ride for some people will take over an hour. So there are likely people who started at 7 that are still out on the course. There's quite a few riders on this map at any given time. We've almost getting to the top here, if I remember correctly. Still at 2.7 watts per kilo, which is just over 210 pure watts. That's right, and power light bulb. Oh, flat stretch, thank you. As I said before, we're on this reimagination of Central Park, New York. Below this glass highway that I'm on, it's a fairly accurate recreation of Central Park. This glass highway is the reimagined part. So we're currently on the biggest climb this particular route has to offer. I believe as I come down, should have most of my climbing in the books. As you can see from that rider list on the right, we've got people from all around the world. Canadians, Americans, both in Japan, France, Australia. Ah, there's the top of the KOM right there. One of the cool things I can do with my companion app is control what we see on my screen. So got my heads up display on right now with the rider list, some information. I can hide all that stuff and just get the pure, unadulterated view. And that flash you saw on the screen was my ability to take a screenshot. So I took it as I crossed the KOM. Let's turn the display back on and see how I finished. Whoa, 114. At least I broke 8 minutes. I'm not trying to set world records, but I'm trying to be better than yesterday. I'm gonna let my watts drop here and recover a bit as I go downhill. Looks like I'm about a third of the way into this ride. Let this heart rate drop for a bit, so I'm not huffing and puffing in the microphone. All right. So the reason I'm testing out live streams and generally exploring this whole thing is in a couple weeks, I'll be, well, actually, to be honest, I've been fundraising for the Ride to Conquer Cancer since about February, I think. So call it 6 months. Ride to Conquer Cancer is a big charity ride based out of Southern Ontario. In its original form, the ride from Toronto to Niagara Falls. two, I guess, globally recognizable places in Canada. It's a 2-day ride. It's just over 100 kilometers each day to get from Toronto to Niagara Falls. Stop halfway in a city called Hamilton. The ride, I believe, has been around for almost 15 years, if not more. But obviously, because of COVID, it didn't happen last year, and this year, in 2021, they're offering a virtual option. Personally, I don't ride outside much these days. I prefer to be inside. But with a virtual option and my preference to ride inside means I get to take part in the Ride to Conquer Cancer. And the weekend for everyone to virtually do their ride is August 28 and 29. And on one of those days, I'm not sure which day yet, we either the Saturday night or Sunday night, I am going to do the ride just over 100 kilometers on Zwift. So I'm testing out what it looks like here. And in Zwift's kind of original virtual world called Watopia, got a really cool looking volcano that you get to ride through. And one of the badges is to complete a 4-kilometer loop of volcano circuit 25 times. So 100 kilometers. I plan to do that on the Ride to Conquer Cancer weekend. And I've got at least one friend that is planning on doing it with me. So I thought streaming it so our mutual friends kind of check in on how we're doing would be a good idea. So in these kind of weeks leading up to it, just testing out various streaming platforms and setups so that we can find the one that works best. Right now we're using StreamYard. It's actually pretty cool so far. If only I could fix what the actual stream looks like without having it cut off. I kind of know why it's cutting off. But given my my laptop situation and kind of not wanting to spend extra money on this because I don't know if this is going to be a regular thing. Probably talk a bit more about that later. This is the only thing we've got planned. I kind of don't want to shell out for a better laptop or a better video capture setup than what I've got right now. So yeah, that's why I'm testing this out. That's why I'm checking to see if the audio, the way it's set up right now, is sufficient, or if you're hearing too much background noise, or if you are not hearing me clearly enough. Just testing that out. The other thing I'm testing out is how much talking can I do? I think this ride is going to be about an hour long. I've pretty much freestyled these first almost 30 minutes. I've had a little bit of dead air, but not too much. As I get into 140 beats per minute, as I get into 200 plus watts, it's a little more difficult to talk. So trying to figure that out too. Obviously, on a 100K ride, the goal is to keep the heart rate as low as possible without overshooting it on the watts. So you should be able to talk. What I'm going to talk about for close to 4 hours is a completely different story. But if I've got my friend Corby on the ride. There's obviously going to be some chatter between the two of us. If some of our mutual friends end up tuning in and dropping comments into the chat, we'll be able to speak to those. We also wouldn't be against bringing guests in to kind of be another screen on the right-hand side here, to be another voice, or to talk about what we're doing, or talk about what they're doing. There's a whole bunch of possibilities for the actual ride itself, and streams like this are my way of testing things out. So it looks like I'm about to eat. Yeesh, this isn't an official climb, but it's 10%. As you can see, there is in-game messaging in the app, which is cool. When you're in a group ride, obviously you can see that we're all kind of spread out on that rider list on the right-hand side. There's plus or minus times from where you are and the riders around you. Sometimes there are group rides where, you know, there's 50 people grouped together on the screen. The in-game chat makes it kind of feel a little bit more social. And some of the other group rides that happen on Zwift, folks will use Discord so that they can talk in real time. So overall, Zwift's a pretty cool platform. I can't speak highly enough about it. It's kind of given me an outlet during COVID. It's given me an opportunity to keep working on my fitness as you know, life changes, I think. I like being home. I don't like having to go out for a run, drive somewhere else for a run. I like being able to kind of work out in the comfort of my own home. Got a sleeping toddler upstairs, which is why all my rides are at night. I just like being home. So this has been a great little outlet, and it was a great thing to do. Reconnected with friends who are on Zwift. So it's great. A great little platform. Ooh, just under 7 kilometers left. Got about 60 more meters of climbing, I think. Got my heart rate back in a good spot. I think the climb was a good wake up. So if you end up watching this stream after the fact and you make it to this point of the video, I appreciate you for either watching this whole time or skipping ahead. I couldn't even give you an estimate as to how much time I have left. Like I said, there's now just over 6 kilometers to go. We're now on the actual roads of Central Park. So if you've been to Central Park, you'll know it's fairly flat. There are a couple small bumps in the road, but I think I've gotten through most of those. They're going to be fairly short, so I can power up them pretty easily. The stretch of road that I'm on is currently a decline, traveling along at 52 kilometers an hour. You'll see my heart rate's crept up a bit. I'm trying to push close to 2 watts a kilo, which is just around 160 kilowatts. Here the road pitches up again to 5%. And you can see as the road extends up there to the left, I'll be climbing a bit more. Try to keep the wattage fairly high. I think the goal on Ride to Conquer Cancer Day is to sit in around 1.7 watts per kilo, so about 140, 145 watts. that's a number I feel like I can hold for. I actually tested out that one at about 2.5 hours. You just got to hold it for another hour and change to get through 100 kilometers. Again, I think we'll have an opportunity to take some breaks. Kind of don't want to do all 4 hours in one shot. Don't think I've ever done 100 Ks in one shot without a break. So we'll see what that's like. The good thing about being on a trainer and not on a real road is you can give your arms a shake and give your back a break from kind of hunched over aerodynamic position. But this position where I'm kind of on the horizontals or on the hoods, probably the most efficient position in terms of pedaling. No chance am I getting in my drops for any of this. But even this position, even though this is kind of most efficient in terms of getting power out, it does drain on your arms and your core. Fun fact, I'm not actually leaning on my handlebars. The idea is use your core to keep you fairly upright. You're just stabilizing your hands. I said earlier in the stream that drafting's a real thing in Zwift. So as you'll see, I pitched myself onto this rider in front of me, letting them pull me along at 40 kilometers an hour. So Jay Shields, I appreciate you. I don't know if you're gonna watch this, but thank you. It's another small bump in the road, gets us up to 8%. I'm gonna try to power through this one, keep the wheel that's in front of me. We talked about not wanting to invest in additional equipment for the stream because I don't know what's going to come of this. I mean, in my ideal world, I'd love to, I'm going to be riding Zwift anyways. If enough people are interested and I can make it interesting enough, I'd love to do live stream fundraisers where I ride, you know, pretty cool things in the Zwift world. Stream it, have conversations. Maybe it's conversations like this with ultimately myself if no one's watching. But maybe it's conversations with my friends and family. Maybe it's conversations with people I don't know, but people who are associated with whatever cause I happen to be raising funds for. The fact that I've been able to work from home, the fact that I'm able to have a exercise setup that's, you know, quite frankly, a little bit on the higher cost end is a privilege. I know that not everyone has those same privileges in life. So why not use that to raise money for folks who don't have as much as I do, or as much, quite frankly, as much as my friends do. So what a great way to kind of give back. I don't know if anyone would ever want to do that or watch that or be a part of it, but I'm more than willing to do some riding, to improve the quality of the stream, to have a little bit more content on the stream while raising some money for a bunch of great causes. So, you know, if this Ride to Conquer Cancer stream, you know, is something that people want more of, that I enjoy doing that I feel can give back to the community, 100% I do it more often. But until then, I'll just keep testing. I'll keep riding. I ride Zwift often enough that I could probably just stream most of my rides. Maybe not the hour-long ones, but I like doing some of the short races that Zwift offers, and those are 30, 35 minutes. But those ramp up quick. The heart rate goes pretty fast. Won't be able to talk nearly as efficiently as I am right now. But if it's 30 minutes, it'd be pretty entertaining to watch me suffer for half an hour. Looks like I've got just about 3 kilometers left. 2 kilometers left, I think. Let's see if we can get moving a little quicker here. I think the only numbers of mine you can see on the screen are my cadence, which is 78, 77, and my heart rate at a 130. Get someone in front of me. Two shields, let's go. See if I can ease up and give that person a wheel. I'm going to change my view here. See how close. How close Jay Shields is. I dropped Jay Shields? I did. There's 2 riders ahead of me. Even like that. If you end up watching this, let me know if this is a much better angle. Kind of feels like a TV. Josh gets in a narrow position looking to increase his cadence. Okay, we've got one. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Come along, come along. Yep, looks like they're ramping up their power to hang on here. Let's see if we can't help a friend out. I'm going to change the camera angle again. See if I can see them in the back. Oh, that's a pretty big gap. Come on, E. Valenciano. Eugenio. My companion outside like full names. We've got Kevin from the US just ahead. See if we can get him. Kevin is increasing the power. Just over 1.5 kilometers left. Wait a minute. That's so funny. So I cut evolution, but I'm gonna go get E-Zigament. So fun fact about a decade ago, 10, 15 years ago, I worked for Roots Canada. And I believe this person ahead of me is someone I used to work with. Just over half a kilometer to go. Probably won't catch her before the end. I'll send her a ride on. Here we go. Wow, never rode that route before. Yeah, I'm about to stay here. So that's that. 51 minutes and change. Finished a route I never did before. That's good times. If you end up watching to this point in this stream at some point in the future, I appreciate you for sticking around or fast forwarding to this point. I'm going to do this again a couple more times before August 28 or 29 for the Right to Conquer Cancer. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know in the comments what you'd like me to do to improve or things you want me to continue doing. Yeah, I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll ride on soon.